Oh my goodness. You guys are already here. Jay says, hey, and hey back. Juanpa, hi Mehran, hope you're well, thank you. Majid, salam, what a surprise. Thank you, Majid Jan, good to see you too as well. Although I don't see any one of you, I just read. So I should say good to read you guys. Wookie says hello Mehran. He or she just changed my name to Mehran from Mehran. That's all right. Hope you're well, thank you. And remember guys, what did I just write up there? I'm beginning to doubt the level of your attention, guys. What the 2-3 sentences I wrote up there, just will you please take a look? Remember the protocol? I need to know where you guys are tuning in from, how old you are, if you're a man or woman, male or female, whatever your gender is. Just say M, 23, UK, F, I don't know, Hawaii, 40, whatever it is. So, Wookie says, just doing my law notes for my class tomorrow. Ah, good. And Jay says, this is the highlight of my night. Oh my goodness. All right, then that's wonderful. Wunderbar. Excalibur says, oh my goodness, my brother from another version. Okay. Wookie says, apologies, male 20, Durham, UK. There we go. Now I have got a place, not face, but place for the sentences, that for the screen names. And okay, that's right, you beat me to it. That's true. You noticed it yourself. Oh, I haven't noticed or heard that. That's bad. I will check it out to see what it is. Excalibur. Jay says, what's your opinion on Bonnie Tyler? I don't know Bonnie Tyler. I don't know who that is, what that is. Maybe I should Google it. Let me Google it. It says Bonnie Tyler is a Welsh singer known for her distinctive husky voice. Tyler came to prominence with the release of her 1977 album The World Starts Tonight and its singles Lost in France and More Than Lover. Well, that doesn't tell me much, and I can't play her music, otherwise I'll get flagged as a, I don't know, copyright or something. So so I don't know about her, but in what way do you mean? Her voice or her art or her looks or what? Nicola Belluccia or Beloica says hello for the first time. Well, yes, welcome, Nicola. Nicola, our protocol here for the people who join us is to let us know in simple codes, M for male, F for female, like it says M, then where you're tuning in, how old you are, like, I don't know, 30, and then UK. So M23 UK, that tells me you're male, 23 years old from UK, or F, 35, Hawaii. So at least I can put a place, and that helps me to know a little bit about your background, cultural background, values, maybe from what I little know, maybe of that air neck of the wood, and tells me how to deliver it according to your age. And of course, your gender will help me to know how I should best deliver it, the answer, whatever your question may be. Anyways, welcome, Nicola. There you go. Nicola says Beloitsa. That's how it's pronounced. I hope I didn't butcher it. So Nicola Beloitsa, 28, male, Serbia. All right, welcome. So it must be, what, for 12 o'clock in Serbia, right? 8 hours difference, is it? And Lamiae El Kauchi says, hey, from Morocco, female 25. Thank you very much, Lamiae, or am I saying it right, or butchering the name again? For observing the protocol, letting me know about where you tuning in from, your gender and age. Very efficient. Thank you. And Nicola apparently tells me I pronounced it correctly. Beloitsa. Okay, great. Excalibur says, today I discovered that wearing an extra jacket will make me warm. Really? I must be a genius. I think so, or I think not. If it took you that long. Juan Paz says, Costa Rica, M23. Mehran, my past ex-girlfriend, 23. Thank you for that, for clearing that up and giving that info about your ex, so that would put the picture together. So Juanpa says, Costa Rica, male, 23. Mehran, my past ex-girlfriend, 23, was not really an ex because she didn't want us to have that title because of the continuous problems we had. We lasted 2 years and she broke up. I actually didn't understand. She didn't want you guys being an ex? You mean you guys tried, but she didn't want to try to break up, but she didn't want to be an ex, so you constantly tried, and eventually after 2 years you broke up? Is that what it means? Juanpa says, does it hurt more because of the fact that I didn't have the title of boyfriend and girlfriend, or it doesn't make a difference at all? Who gives those titles out? Is there an organization that says you got to register to give you a title? You guys were together, holding hands, going to events, being together, interacting, kissing, hugging, sleeping together. Well, that's boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't care who gives it a title or not. It comes with the action, not with the registration of a title. And Nicola says 1:12 a.m. 1:12. Now, Nicola is the first time you're here, so let's give him a welcome package, meaning shoot your question, and Nicola will get you ahead of the ahead of the queue, if there is one. Juanpa, it doesn't make any difference. In either case, it shouldn't hurt, because you should know that if it's broken up, means it doesn't work. And why would you want to be in a relationship that doesn't work? So, regardless, you should focus on wonderful opportunities out there. Beautiful women, wonderful women with different backgrounds, and you may find more things in common on consciousness level, and associate and socialize and interact, you know, in positive intentions, and get to know each other and see if you guys can build something together. And there's so many possibilities out there that if you get bogged down with what it was, then you're constantly thinking about what it was, which is in your memory. You're in the past. You're never really focusing on your present moment of life, and you miss the life. And the thing that you were going to be calling it a life, it will be death of the past, because you'll be missing everything that is in front of you and is happening as you're living every day. Instead, you're in your memory thinking about, oh, how it was, I wish it was the same, what did I do, what should I have done, I should have done it differently, and all that nonsense. So move on, live with your life. Excalibur says, the Who Gives a Shit Cure by Mehran Dadbeh. Now, that'd be one hell of a book. Yes, that's right. Could be. Who knows? Ankita Yadav says, hi, it's 5:45 a.m. Oh my goodness, where are you? Where is here, Ankita? You know, where is here? 5:45? Let me see if I can guess. It is 4/7, that means 13 hours. It must be India. India is about 12 and a half hours ahead, so this must be, Ankita must be talking from India. See, don't make it a puzzle, Ankita. Just tell me where you're tuning in from, how old you are, and you're man or woman, then I can. Nikki says, hi, Mehran, with lots of wonderful looking hearts. Well, we miss you too, Nikki. How are you? I think you are in Florida. Am I remembered right? Is it a guessing game? Can I please have where you guys tuning in from, how old you are? Nikki, I know, I at least remember, you know, you're a young lady. I think you're in Florida, not sure, but at least I got some memory. Juanpa says, Costa Rica, male 23, thank you. Mehran, I read a book named Sapiens. There, it was said that happiness could not be biological definition, that it was just used to manipulate people and make them believe they should achieve it, that only desire was biologically proven. What do you think about that? Well, you see, the idea of, I don't know about that book or whoever written it or what they say here, from what you just told me, it seems to me that you're saying is happiness and instinct is something that we understand inwardly to pursue, as many other things that we, like we're getting hungry, we need food, and there's something called that happiness that we are programmed to strive for. Well, look, it's like saying comfort and relaxation is not biologically programmed, or it's not something we should seek. We should only seek things that our thoughts conjures up for the purpose of pleasure. If we agree that our whole life is set around pleasure, everything that we do is about pain and pleasure, therefore, naturally, happiness will fall in the category of pleasure, which means is part of what we will pursue. And desire that you talk about is actually trying to fulfill itself through pleasure. So you desire something, why? Because that what you desire brings pleasure. So desire fulfill itself through the pleasure, and then through that, the ego is fluffed. And happiness is also a pleasure, because you feel elated, you feel free from needing anything else. And that's what the state of pleasure really is, in one way of explaining it. So in my opinion, happiness is a default state of human beings' desire. Without desiring it, it strives, it wants it, because that's where it finds that elusive psychological security. That's where it finds, I don't need anything else. That's where it finds contentment. That's where it finds satisfaction. So that it's its default pursuit. And that's why whatever that makes you feel good, you consider it that you're being happy. And feel good is pleasure. So although happiness and pleasure are not exactly the same, but it could be considered that it is a default characteristics and emotion that we are seeking. I hope it's something that you possibly could use as a comment on your question. And Kita says, India. Yeah, yeah. One person says, thank you. You're welcome. Nicola says, oh, talking to somebody else, I guess. And Ankita says 21-year-old female. Aha, good. Okay, thank you. Christina says, hi, Mehran. Hello, Christina. Female 25 from New York. So Sid says, male 31, Estonia. Salute again, General. Hello. Hello, Sid from Estonia. How are you, dear? Good to see you here. Puria says, hello, dear Mehran. Hope you are doing well. 19, male from Iran. I live in a small town where almost everybody knows each other, and I give too much care to other people's opinion about me. I can't help myself. Well, decrease that importance that you give to other people's opinion bit by bit. In other words, first to start with not seeking it, that changes your maneuvering and your interaction with the outside world, because in your mind, you're not seeking it. After a while, when you're conditioned clearly that you know you're not seeking it, you won't be paying attention to who's saying what either, because it is not having a place in your center. You're not counting on it. Your consciousness has decided that the information that you put in your consciousness or your conditioning is that it's not important. I don't seek it. But before you can expect others' opinion not be important in your mind, you should start focusing on not having an image of yourself. If you create an image of yourself, a certain way that you see yourself, then the opinion of people about that image becomes important. But if you don't have an image, then you actually don't care, because you have no image, you don't expect any opinion, and if they do have an opinion, it's about an image that they have of you in their own mind, but you don't have an image of you in your own mind. You learn to live without an image, therefore their opinion doesn't have a place to fall on, because you don't have an image in your mind, and their opinion is about your image that they have of you in their mind, not you, because they don't know you. How could they have an opinion of you? So think about it. How could they have an opinion of me if they don't know me? To have an opinion about me, they should know me. How could they know me when they don't have understanding of what the conditioning of my consciousness is? They haven't interacted with your consciousness. They only know you as whose son you are, where you come from, you say hello, you're polite, or what you buy or you don't buy, where you go, who you associate, that's it. But not about inside your head. So when they don't know anything about you, then their opinion is worthless. So that's what you should go on, I guess. Sid says, was writing my research paper and got notification that you're alive. I mean, you're live. Yeah, I got my notification too that I'm alive. Couldn't miss the chance to hear your voice. Well, we don't want to disturb your progress in your research, especially it's a limited time. So you may want to watch the rerun, I mean the upload, once it's done, so you can get to do your stuff. But you're always welcome, of course, as you know. We enjoy having you here. Excalibur says, I love how you have your books lined up on the couch. Yeah, I thought that would be a good plug, a subtle plug without mentioning it, because you'll go, you know, everybody's nosy, so they want to see what's there, and they'll eventually get to see the books, and, you know, the topics will come up, and I would then say, those books are expensive. They're $80 to $105, but you can go on my site, mind@sixtruth.com, and pick up the ebook version of it, which is for the same book, same number of pages, same thing. Instead of $100 is $4.99, $5.99, or $6.99. See, it worked. Excalibur. A plug was called in. Nicola, stuck in Juanpa. Excalibur says, no tea tonight, but I'm snacking on pistachios. Lol, so salty and nice. Ah, good, okay. Sid says, can you give a small motivational pep talk, please? My focus is a bit less at the moment. Well, the pep talk would be, put your hands in your pocket, see if there's any money in it. If there is lots of money there, you don't need the pep talk. You don't need to study. Perhaps, maybe, you can conclude whatever you want to conclude. But if you don't find much in there, then understand that what you're focusing on, trying to accomplish, your PhD, your research, your everything, the exams, preparing for it, is directly going to be responsible for filling that pocket that your hand is in it and finds nothing but air. If you translate the benefits of what you're trying to do to your life and your future ability to build something that you're hoping to build, then you will get that motivation. It will mean something to you. Right now, it's only a bunch of numbers or decisions or articles and opinions, but it doesn't have a real shape for its effect on your life. When you actually think that this favorable results that you will get from your studies and your project and your PhD and research will actually bring about certain benefits, material benefit, comfort benefit, ability to have a lifestyle that you want. The fact that you can go in the woods and have a little, a little place there for you to rest when you finish your work from the city, and have that to be your home and your rest home, or your, home away from home, a resort home. The lifestyle that you're looking for is going to be possible because you were successful in your studies. Then it makes sense, and you'll be motivated. Okay, if I'm not doing it for the actual research right now, I'm going to be doing it because I need to do it for what I want to have, the kind of lifestyle and comfort and resources that I want to have in the future. So translate it to what it does to your life, for your life, then you'll be motivated. Oh yes, I will. Then you'll get on with it. That's a little short pep talk for and Nicola Bloitska or Bloitsk. Am I butchering it again? I forgot. It was. Let me go back and see how it was. Okay, where is it? Can't find it. Oh, there it is. Bloitza. So Nicola says, what is it? That was awesome motivation. Okay, good. And Excalibur says, you caught up, Mehran? Shortest live stream. Yeah, that's right. Time to go home. Beauty obsession. Beauty Obsession. It's the first time you're here, aren't you? Would you kindly let us know where you're tuning in from and how old you are? And obviously, you are a young lady. I can see the picture of your thumbnail. Excalibur says, but Mehran, what about people who reach into their pocket and find shit ton of money and still aren't happy? And then they gotta go to their doctor and figure out why they're not happy. Well, they're not happy because happiness doesn't come from attaining material things necessarily. It helps, but it is not real happiness. Happiness comes from your inward understanding of the relationship between your thoughts and consciousness, understanding what's the role of fear, how is it born, what about desire, how is desire come to be, what is the role of ego in how I see things and feel things. When you understand all that, then their effect on you would be limited, and the happiness will have a chance to actually flourish. Otherwise, you're always bogged down with the desire, the fear, the ego, and all these are crowding you and doesn't let happiness to shine. It's like a seed of a plant wants to come out, you have something heavy on it. Once you understand and lift this heavy thing away, that seed will actually start blooming, coming out. The plant will grow. Same thing. Happiness is always there. It doesn't have to, you don't have to look for it. You just have to understand how you're centered, how you're personal, how you're put together, and understand these blemishes and these unclarities, would be cleaned away and put away, like by understanding the ego, desire, fear, and your thoughts, what are the roles of them, the way you feel. When you understand all that, then it makes clear sense for you. Then they're not occupying your mind and attention. Then you will be able to simply see what's already there. Happiness. All right, so let's talk about what Purya is trying to say. Purya says, I achieved my scholarship 2 years ago at the age of 17, and I was about to start a wonderful life in Italy, but they framed a new law in Iran blocking me to do so. I failed, and now all my friends mock. What do you mean? They put a new law and you failed. What does that mean to you? You didn't fail. There's a new law that stopped you from going and continuing your education in Italy. So you're still you. You're still capable of accomplishing and learning what you wanted to do in different places, including where you are, because probably books are available. You know that. But I understand. Of course, it's a downer, but how could your friends mock you for that? What does that mean? Sid says, wonderful pep talk. I sign off now and focus on the paper and hope to catch up with you again soon. Thank you, General. You're welcome. And may the force be with you. Go on, go to it. KK21 India. Thank you. Excalibur says, that's right, Matina. By the way, guys, before you guys depart, click on like. Make sure that you click on the like button. That'll help the algorithm to recognize us a little bit more than it does, because we are still oblivious. I mean, not oblivious. We are unnoticed, invisible. That's right, Excalibur. Excalibur, did you ever use your Aikido skills in real life, Mehran, to defend yourself? Yes, a few times. And mostly was defending others. It happens. Excalibur says, I was the first to click on like tonight. Dedication, huh? Yeah, that's right. There we go. Well, that was a wonderful short live. session. We have caught up with all the questions. I don't see any other question here, so perhaps it would be time. It says, Excalibur says, "Oh, really? Was it a robbery?" No, it wasn't robbery. It was a couple of times was in some demonstrations for democracy and freedom. And one of them I remember was a young lady was being harassed or about to be somehow attacked by some guy, some, I don't know, drunk or something. I was in the bus stop. And she came and hid behind me. And naturally, right away, I noticed what's happening. I was just seeing it coming. So as soon as she came behind me, I took that as she asks for protection. So I did what I had to do, and then I had somebody call the police to come and take over. And that was the end of it. And Purya says, "Thank you for everything, Mehran." You're welcome. Achilles25 says, "Hello, Mehran." Antoine, 51, male, Los Angeles. Hello, Antoine. Good to see you. Excalibur says, "Very noble of you." It's not being noble, it's that you have the duty to protect women and children at all times. And if you see there's a danger or something is causing them fear or some insecurity, whether it's in the street, wherever it is, you should call the authorities. And if there's none around, well, you will do what you have to do. Well, Excalibur, it was not expected. She thanked me, and that was good enough. Nicola Beloitza says, "You know, people are so sad because of their age. But as I'm growing up, I feel so much better. Years are passing by, but I feel calmer and more successful in many ways." Nicola, I forgot how old you were. That's, you know, every follow-up would be great if it has those 3 codes, like M, whatever, and whatever type thing. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, 21-year-old female. Oh, no, that's Annika. Nicola, see, I don't have it. I don't know where it is. So if you put it in there, it'll be helpful. Oh, 28 male Serbia. All right. So male Serbia, and says, you know, people are so sad because of their age. It's not because of their age necessarily. Possibly it could be, but if you have lived your years in a manner where when you look back, you feel satisfied, you feel happy, proud, then the age wouldn't really affect you that much, although it does all the time anyhow. But that's something that you have no control on. Let's focus on the things that we do have control on. You don't have any control on getting old. Nobody does. So on those things, we shouldn't really ponder too much. That comes with it. Can't help it. It's funny, like when you're like 2-year-old or 5-year-old, 6 years old, or 10 years old, or 11 or 12 years old, 15 years old, you're hoping to be older. So the same thing that you were hoping for Then when you're like, let's say 50, you're saying, oh, listen, I'm not hoping to be older, I want to be younger. Just as you couldn't stop it then, but you somehow liked it and wanted it, well, you can't stop it when you're older either. So what should you do is focus on the way you live, how you live, the efforts you make, things you accomplish, things you come to contact with, experiences that you have. Live in a way that you will enjoy twice. One, when you're actually living it, doing it, whatever it is that you're doing it, interacting, efforts you're making, what you're accomplishing, what you're involved in, when you're involved in, as you're living, what you're doing. That's one thing. So do the good stuff. And one is when you're older and you look back how you lived and what you did, that you will also enjoy the memory of it. That's doing once, but enjoying it twice. Once when you're doing it, involved in it, and once when you remember having done it. That's why you have to always make sure what you're involved in life, what you're doing, the effects you make on your life and other people's life would be something that you will be proud of, and it will also be helpful to you and to other people around the world. In general, you will be able to help and develop and help things grow with your efforts and your energy in your life. That would probably be as best as you can deal with how old you have become to be. Excalibur, you are in Fantasyland tonight. What's going on? Those pistachios perhaps have a little bit too much salt. Excalibur says, no, I said it's noble because nowadays what you said doesn't exist much. And when it happens, it's noble. Yeah, I know. I understood. Yes. Yeah, Nikolai got it, 28. Excalibur says, I mean, it's normal in Mehran's morality. Yeah. Bit noble in modern society. Yeah, yes, yeah, I understand. KKR says, I asked out this girl from my class, and she agreed to go on a date with me, but after the date, when I tried to text her, she didn't show much interest. When I asked her about it, she said that we agreed to meet on a date just as friends, and she doesn't want a relationship as she has just had a breakup. Now I can't understand, what if I remain friends with her? Will we date in future, or if I should stop texting her? P.S. I accepted I like her and want to have a relationship with her. Well, you know, you can't push anyone into a relationship. You just went on a date. You don't ask someone to be in a relationship after you had one date. Just do the date. You know, be a gentleman, be nice, don't try too hard. Just be there to understand each other, interact. Find out about her, what she likes, what she doesn't. Tell her about you, whatever she's interested in. Don't bore her with all your life history, but don't ask her too many questions either. Just things that you can find in common. Enjoying the ambiance, whatever it is that you're doing, having tea, having dinner, whatever it is, be cordial and make her feel safe and make her feel protected. Make her feel that she doesn't need to do anything special just because she's on date with you to make you feel happy. Just enjoy a conversation and let it be how it will be, rather than having a prerequisite, having an agenda for it. And she will feel that you were there and you had a good time together, and no expectations, no pressure, and you're not asking for anything, you're putting her on the spot. She doesn't know. She's a woman. She's a lady. She's not like us who can be visual and see a pretty girl and then suddenly you decide, oh, she's good enough, she has all the credentials that you want in order to be in a relationship with. They're different. They think differently. So create that atmosphere of comfort, be a good date, make her feel comfortable and welcomed, and that's it. Later, maybe you will meet her again or text and say, hey, what are you doing again? Would you like to go, I don't know, to a dinner or movie or some, I don't know, tennis, some activity, and then see where it goes. Otherwise, okay, you saw her, now sit down, okay, you're on date with me, so let's have a relationship now. Let's sign down on the dotted line. Too much expectations always pushes people away, because they may not be where on the page that you are at that time. They may be later, but, you know, like anything else, you know. You push tea to someone, they may be thirsty, but they don't want it because you're just making them make a decision. Let people make their own decision. That's the key. Just be a good person, that's all. Coral Ong Lee Wei says, hi Mehran. Hello, Coral. It's been a while. I didn't join your live chat. Oh, too bad. Nice to see you here again. My name is Coral, 34 female from Malaysia. Ah, Malaysia, land of lots of different kinds of beauties, nature, and all the wonderful things I've heard about it. Very civilized people. My ex broke up with me, she says, 2 years ago, but he will call me up and tell me he loves me when he's drunk, or ask me whether I still love him. I always keep silence or change other topics to talk. He came to Melbourne to visit me last week, but you said you're from Malaysia. You're from Malaysia but living in Melbourne, or is there a place called Melbourne in Malaysia? He came to Melbourne to visit me last week, and he asked me whether he can get back together. I say no to him, and he get very upset and give me silence treatment. We fought on 2 days. I'm not sure should I keep him as friend or totally ignore him. I feel sad these few days. I study in Melbourne. Oh, I see. Okay, well, so my ex broke up with me 2 years ago, but he will call me. No, listen. He broke up with you 2 years ago, and every time he's drunk, he calls you. It's not a quality call. This is what most, some men do. They miss that intimacy, and they find that motivational for them to call you again. But the same problem that existed when you guys broke up still exists, only his feelings have changed. Well, because he was the one who broke up, when he calls in, you find it welcoming. And because you kind of still feel like, oh, what was wrong with me? And you kind of hurt, and you expect some kind of a retraction of that behavior. And his calls kind of means to you something like that. But don't. The problems that existed, for whatever reason he broke up with you, still there. And you should not turn out to be his, his last minute call or anything. So I suggest, if you don't like him anymore, and if you don't find him suitable, trust him that he will be true to his words, or be able to be a good boyfriend, or be compatible and have things in common on bond on consciousness level, then just tell him, please don't call me. You got to make a decision. You seem to me that you're not making a decision. You're hanging in there for him to make decisions for you. That's why he can call whenever he wants, and you reciprocate. You talk to him. Why don't you simply make a decision first? Do you want to be with this guy or not? Do you trust him or not? Do you feel he really cares and loves and pays attention to you? Or he's just trying to play and find until something else comes along that he might want to go, and he finds you convenience. If you make that decision, then you will act properly when he calls. You simply tell him, either you welcome him, or you say, please don't call me anymore. You broke up with me. There's nothing to talk about. That's it. And that would be the end of it. Unless you take charge, and to do that, you first got to know what you want to do. Make that decision, and on that basis, take action. Unless you do that, it will be the same, because obviously he's now trying to focus on what he can gain by having someone who's available. To him, you seem to be available and easy because he's already had a relationship with you. So I think you need to stand up for yourself here. Puria says, I saw a video in YouTube, a man claiming to be psychologist suggesting people to always tell the truth, always, no exceptions. He said doing so will give your mind peace. Do you agree with him? Well, there is no reason why you shouldn't tell the truth, but sometimes when telling the truth is going to hurt someone, and not telling it as it is not going to be causing any trouble on any level, legal level, personal level, or anything, and you don't need to say the truth to everybody about everything, because it might not be none of their business. For example, what is the definition of truth? What is the subject here? That's important. Telling the truth is good, and it must be a way for you to feel comfortable and strong by simply telling the truth. I agree with that. But what if somebody comes and asks you, what's your bank account number or bank account card code? That is considered telling the truth when you don't tell them? Or if somebody, you know, it depends on circumstances and topics. But generally, yeah, I agree. If it's called for, if it's appropriate, if it's, you know, related to whatever it is doing, yeah, telling the truth is the best policy. And that's correct. Coral says, thanks, Mehran. Thanks, I have made the decision. All right, then. Excalibur says, why does time heal emotional and some physical wounds? Well, obviously, wounds, physical wounds, get healed through time because there's a process to regenerate the cells and so on and repair. So that needs time. Now, why does time heal emotional? Because if you don't think about those emotions, just like when we talked about in the video how to delete your memory, if in the time passing a certain emotional experience, you're not thinking about that event, the synaptic neurons that facilitate the movement of neurotransmitters between the neurons, they will be left dormant and they will be marked by CQ1 protein, and it will be destroyed when you're sleeping. And eventually you're no longer having so many connections for that information to be at the forefront of your mind, and you will forget about it. Just like you don't play piano for a while, if you're a good piano player, you don't play it for a while, the bridges between the synaptic neurons, between the neurons, will be dormant. They're not going to be used. The bridges that were being used for the information passing through about how to play piano. So when you don't do that for a while, they will be destroyed. They're not refreshed, and you will not be as good in piano playing. Same thing when you don't think about those emotional reactions or emotional experiences for a while. Through time, those bridges between the neurons will be destroyed, and therefore you won't have that memory so clearly in forefront of your head. And that's its relationship with that you think it's healing. And when something you're not focused on, it won't be a question, and you won't be feeling its effect, because what you feel is what you think. So if you're not thinking about it because you're focused on your day-to-day life, therefore, when you're not thinking about it, there would not be a file, emotional file, coming up with those thinkings about that subject, that event. Therefore, you will not feel the pain of it or whatever the effect of that emotion would have been on you. He says, does it have something to do with the delete your memory article? Oh, where if you don't think of something, yeah, that's the video that I just talked about. If you don't think of something for some time, the mind discards it. Well, the reason it discards it is explained in that video of mine. How to delete your memory is because the synaptic neurons are no longer connected. You know, they're just simply kind of severed, and they're ready to be used for something else that you want to be good at. Nicola Beloitza, I guess, says you have jumped over Lamia. She has an important question. Really? Did I? Where's Lamia? Oh, yeah. Yeah, how did that happen? Oh, because I jumped to follow up with Coral, and then I continued down. All right, let's go to Lamia. Lamia says, female 25, says, I will leave my country. Lamia, was that, where is your country, by the way? Let me remind myself. Let me see, you probably have it here somewhere. This is what happens when we don't have it in every... Where's Lamia? Lamia? You're no longer here. What happened? Ah, there it is. Morocco. Female, 25 from Morocco. All right. Now, Lamia's question is... I will leave my country for a better job opportunity that I was dreaming of. Whenever I want to talk about something like that, he goes angry. He's against it. Who is he? Your boyfriend? I was going along all process, hiding it. And now I'll start and leave the country within 20 days. So I was thinking, what would be the best way to break up with him? I don't know about the laws in your country, if he's, what, your boyfriend? I don't still, you haven't told me that. Or is he, I guess it's your boyfriend. It's not a husband or anything. So I guess the laws wouldn't have anything to do with it. So if he gets angry and all that, so what? So he gets angry, what can he do? Are you feeling unsafe if you tell him and he's angry? Is that what the question is? What is it that stops you from telling him? You think he may sabotage it and you lose your plane? Then perhaps you tell him, I don't know, if you think you're not safe and he may sabotage your plans for travel or do something, then don't tell him you're leaving in 20 days. Tell him you're leaving in 40 days. So by the time you'll start thinking about doing something negative, you're already gone. Because he wouldn't start thinking about implementing it now. He probably thinks about, I've got time. But, but if you feel safe and there's no such behavior can be done, then just simply tell him, you know. Or if you think he's unreasonable, just simply leave and then write him a note. Tell him I've gone. You know, you don't owe anybody any kind of a explanation if they're not being reasonable, and if they create any kind of a fear by their anger and temper tantrum. So if you feel that way, just say nothing, just leave. But, or maybe leave him a note, or just tell him now, if you are not afraid and your mom and dad are all for it and they support you, and so there is no way. And but sometimes when you tell these things to your boyfriend and they want to hold you, they come up with all kinds of extraordinary events, like they buy a ring and come and propose and make a big deal in the family, and the family, I guess, wants every, I don't know, girl, depending on the culture, to be married, so they'll push you, oh, don't go, get married and all that and so forth. But it's all nonsense, bullshit. Go for what you want to accomplish in this life. Go and build something out of yourself. Get a good job. Be independent. Have money in your own pocket. Then choose a man for your relationship based on compatibility and bonding unconsciously, not based on the fact that, you know, he brings the money and you have to put up with shit just because you're not independent. So follow your dream. Go do your things. If he's this, you know, okay guy, and, you know, just tell him, break it up now. If not, tell him 40 days from now you're leaving. If not, just don't tell him and leave. Depends. I really don't know what the situation is. That's why I can't really be that helpful in this scenario. Daniel Ramli says, Daniel, male, 24, Malaysia. Ah, 2 people from Malaysia. November last year, I broke up with my girlfriend. Our relationship, 6 years breakup. Our relationship, 6 years breakup after she finished her study and going to work. Suddenly she changed her mind and asked for breakup. Well, now she's successful. She's got independence and things change. So that happens, you know. People are entitled to change their mind, especially women. Women are entitled to change their mind more than we are, just the way you should think of it. And it's fine. You should be okay with that. They have all the right in the world to change their mind at any time they want. So it happens. And she must have decided that it's better for her to experience this new version of hers with, you know, this job and so on, going to work, and she wants to explore that. And depending on where you are, what you have accomplished yourself, perhaps she feels now she's in a different, maybe, echelon. And when she didn't have the job, didn't finish her education, maybe then you were more compatible with her. Now that she is there and I don't know where you are, maybe it's a question in her mind. But whatever the reason was, well, this happened, and it's her right to make the decision she wants. And it is also your right to make the decision you want by pursuing more suitable candidates for you as a girlfriend. Obviously, she wasn't the right girl. She had different plans in her mind. And you should focus on what's good for you, which means accomplish your life, accomplish yourself, build whatever you want to build, and find a suitable woman who resonates on the same level with you and wants to build similar to what you want to build, and together you can have compatibility in what you want to build, and then focus on that both. In other words, don't sweat it, because there's a lot more other opportunities out there. She changed her mind, you wish her well, respect that, but also respect yourself and move on by knowing there are a lot more opportunities out there for you as well. Nicola says, well, this is an important to me. What do you think? How trauma of losing a parent, mother, can affect on emotional status in a relationship or breakup? 28 Serbia. Well, it's rather not so clear what the scenario is. It your mom, her mom, or in general? What's the, how we get there? He says, well, this is an important to me. What do you think? How trauma of losing a parent, mother, can affect an emotional status in a relationship or breakup? 28. Well, you know, of course, losing one's losing his or her mother or father is always devastating. It's not a small thing. But this is not something that is only happening to one or two people. It happens to everybody at some time in their life. Their parents eventually leave this present form of life. And it's not something that it should be considered as a trauma. It's part of life. What can you do? It's sad. It's devastating. But it's not supposed to be considered as a trauma because it's way of the nature. We can't help it. There is nothing one can do. And it happens to everybody. It's like birth. It's part of this life. It's the beginning of this life. And death is another stage of this life, opening to other continuation of it. So I need a little bit more info as far as, is it you? How is it affecting you? I have a video on this channel called Death in the Family. Perhaps you want to watch that. And that is something that I created for someone who called me from States. It was an older gentleman who was a lawyer, as I remember, and he had lost his mother. And I created that video for him, and of course many others have enjoyed it, I guess, benefited from it. So you might want to take a look at that, and perhaps, let me see if I can find the link for it. Just one moment, guys. Slow computer. All right. All right, there we are. This is the link for it. Oh, sorry guys, I guess this is why nobody could see it, because I have written it here but didn't click on it. So here's the click. My apologies, stand to be corrected. Anyhow, this is the link for that, and there's a shorter version of it, of not the same video, but I think it is not a video that I made specifically for that, but it was a question in one of the live talks that I addressed it in a short version. So I'm going to put that in there as well, perhaps, or you can search it for the same name and you can find it yourself. It's a shorter version of it, but I think the long version, of course, is more elaborate. Here's the short version, or how I discussed it in one of the live talks. Now, let's see. Excalibur says, Mehran, why did you go to Hong Kong in the past? was it tourism only? What did you think of it overall? Well, I had graduated from my university and I went to Japan, and then I spent I don't know, 15 days there, and then on my way back I stopped in Hong Kong for 10 hours. So I had a little bit of time to go a little shopping and come back to hotel, and the next day flew out. That was why I was there. Lamyai says, thanks a lot. That helps a lot. Fortunately, my family supports me and they want me to be independent. I didn't tell him because I was afraid he can play with my mind. Thanks again. Yeah, he probably will. So, maybe just go and call him. I don't know. Depends on how civil he is. Puria says, I wish you could talk to all Persian girls about independence. 90% of them still are waiting for a white knighting. A white knight. My ex married 2 years ago because she thought by doing that she would be independent. Oh yeah, for sure. That's not independence. That's actually, they don't know. Most men, not all men, there are lots of good guys from good families, good education, good social understanding. But many, depending on the culture, they're very interested and cordial to a woman, but once they marry her, then suddenly they try to, you know, play the ego trip and try to focus on domination and all that. And that's not what women, most women want. All women, I guess. And Puria says, by the way, you missed one of my texts, dear Mehran. Did I now? Where was it? It says, but Mehran, after 2 years of my break-up time, whenever I think about her, rarely, it gives me a terrible feeling, the same terrible thing I had in those days. Yeah, of course, because the emotion, the memory of the emotion is now. When you think of a memory, the thinking of that memory is now. Then you think the actual memory that is going to make your physical reactions to react to it, because when you, look, if you think of a sour grape, or if you think of a sour, something sour, if you focus on that, you start salivating. And you don't have anything sour in your mouth. But the memory of the sour stuff that you had exists. It could be from years ago. But that memory of that emotion, that feeling, that sensation is recorded for what sour tastes and makes you react and feel. So when you think about that sour, you're physically reacting to that emotion that is recorded and comes along with that memory file of whatever it is that you're thinking. So when you think of a memory, there is an emotional file with that thinking that comes along, and that emotion, whatever it is, makes your physical body to react to it as if it was happening now, right now. And the reason for it is that the thinking is happening now. The reaction of that emotion that is coming up with that thinking is actually happening now. So you think the actual event is happening now. Then you start feeling and feeding on that. It's like a vicious cycle that you think is happening now. Then you start going deeper in the memory, you think about the stuff, and with the thinking, the emotional files of those thinking and experiences will come up with it, and then you react to it again, and then you get depressed and you get sad and all that. But you believe that it's happening now because the emotion, because the thinking about that emotion is now. And you mix it up thinking the actual thing is happening now. And when there's an emotional file with that thinking coming, the emotion is actually happening now, and you think, therefore, the actual thing is happening now because you can feel the emotion of it. But that's not true. You got to focus on the now. Open your eyes, see what you're involved in, what the activities, what the efforts that you're making is about what, and therefore you come to the now, to the present moment. When you come to the present moment, then you become aware that whatever is happening that you're feeling is an emotion of the past and is not really happening now. Then you separate yourself from that emotion, the time span of that emotion, and with actually where you are, how you are, and then you recognize that you come out of it. And then you won't be falling into the feeling that you had 2 years ago when you think about that event and those experiences now. I hope it made sense to you. And Nicola says, my mom when I was young. And Annika says, you missed my question too. Okay, let me go to Annika, because that might not be as involved as your question. Annika says, sir, I was in a relationship with Mr. X, and then we broke up because he treated me badly, all right? And it's been months or two, and now suddenly out of nowhere, he's back. And now I'm confused as to what to do. Listen, he treated you badly then when he was all new, lovey-dovey stuff, and he's now coming back because he misses whatever you guys had together. But he's still, there's no evidence that he's not going to treat you badly again. What assurance do you have? You already tested the guy. He treated you badly to the point that you had to break up with him. What makes you think that he's not there to show his manhood, so to speak, by trying to show you who the boss is, to clear his own ego that last time you kicked him out, you broke up with him. Now he wants to show, see, I'm here and you're now stuck to me and we're together now. And in order to me feeling good about what you did to me, which was breaking up with me, I'm going to treat you even worse just to make sure that you know who the boss is. That kind of a nonsense and bullshit will be terrible. And you should rely on your experience about the guy's behavior. I don't know what kind of a treatment he gave you that you call it bad, because I don't know the kind of bad behavior it was. Therefore, I don't know what it means. Yelling at you, raising his hand on you, or being, I don't know, unfaithful or nasty. I don't have that information. So I'm talking in general. I don't know. Maybe you say that, oh, it wasn't really that serious, but it was like not so polite. Well, these are things you know and you can figure with it. But to me, depending on what kind of a behavior he had, if it was a bad behavior, you should go with your experience, that you know the facts about this guy and how he behaved. So what tells you that he's going to behave differently this time? Why? Why? Just because he now feels like he was so close to, I don't know, be intimate with you, or maybe you guys have already had sex, or maybe if he didn't, he thinks, oh, he was so close, so he comes to you because it's obviously convenient. But what assurance do you have? The guy was supposed to put his best foot forward. He didn't. He tried to take advantage and treat you badly. So what makes you think that this time he's going to treat you well? Why? You already broke up with him and he's already probably, sore on that one. So, think it through. I don't know what kind of a detail is there. You guys know that when you want to be more, elaborate on your situation and have a detailed conversation with me, you can always go to my site, mind@6truth.com, click on Talk to Me for consultation, and then, of course, make an appointment, and then we'll have Skype consultation one-on-one and explore it in detail and further in a different setting. But until then, that's what I can offer here. Now let's go to, where were we? Nicola. Nicola says, it was my mother when I was young. So you see, my thinking was about, I have lost a mother when I was 18. After that, I became stronger, sometimes maybe too strong, maybe cold. And after 10 years, when my girlfriend and me and I broke, like then, I felt a strong feeling of loss. Like then, yes, of course. Does it make sense? Any sense? Yes, it does. It does, because the emotion of losing something doesn't know. The emotion itself doesn't know the difference between the two losses. It only feels loss plus loss. The thinking comes along and says, okay, that was your mother and this is the girlfriend, but that girlfriend leaving triggers the feeling of loss of when you lost your mother. It wasn't a good feeling. So makes the girlfriend's leaving feeling, become even more of a horrendous thing. It's not because that loss was that important, was because it's reminding you also of the loss of your mom. But try to separate them and treat them, deal with them singularly. You've dealt with the loss of mom already. You're in a secure place there. You're okay there. You figured it out. Treat this just that. That's all it is. It's not, your mom's loss is not happening again. That's already dealt with. You're okay with it. You're in safe grounds there. Safe emotional grounds there. There's a balance there. This is separate. This is just something came, but it's a similar hurt, because divorce and breakup, it's kind of similar feeling as if somebody dies. Part of your identity and experiences and pleasures that you had, the comforts and elusive psychological security that you were attaining through that relationship, is what makes you feel you've kind of lost that loss. The mind doesn't determine it's a death or just break up a relationship. It's something that you did have and now you don't have it. You're denied from that pleasure, that comfort, that security. Because every relationship, whether it's your mother or it's your girlfriend, brings with it had certain kind of a mechanical process. Certain things that you were doing, certain things that you were counting on each other doing. With your mother, one-way relationship, and with your girlfriend, certain things that you guys were involved in doing, shopping or going to work, and regiments and that you had, and places you would go, activities that you would have. All that mechanical process had brought a certain order with you when you were with your girlfriend, as it had a certain order when your mom was around. When mom left, the order, plus the fact that you missed her, she wasn't there anymore, the order of things had changed, and that created an imbalance in you. Now this time the girlfriend is left, plus the fact that you don't have the girlfriend that you can handle, but the bigger part in this scenario of the girlfriend is the order of things have changed, that you were used to a certain norm of way of things happening when she was around, and you can't bring that back up because that order was created with the cooperation of both of you. Certain mechanical processes that you guys were doing was from both of you, involved both of you. Certain things that you were doing, which was creating the order, was shaped by participation of both of you. Now you can't do it alone to bring the same order. So that is really what brings a little bit of imbalance in you, that something has been, there's a turbulence in the order, the way things were, and you were used to it, which that reminds you of how things were feeling imbalanced when mom had gone. These two imbalances, loss of the order that you were used to at one time, is what's really accumulating, adding up, and creating that kind of a feeling of trauma. But really understand, mom, you've handled it, is a safe place. Girlfriend is really not that important. It's the order that is causing you imbalance. And that order, for damn sure, is going to be replaced again with you figuring out things to do, things alone, creating a new order of singularity, of being single. A new order will be created in time. The things that you would do will bring a certain order, and that order will give your mind security, because mind is trying to find security through order. And the order was created with you and the girlfriend together, based on the things that you were doing together and activities that you were involved in. Now that the order is broken, you are not really missing the girlfriend that much, perhaps. Of course you do, but it's not all that. It's the order that is causing the imbalance. But that order will be replaced by you. If you don't find a girlfriend, no problem. You will find it by you, by your own lifestyle, that you will flourish in it, and you design and accomplish things. That will be your new order, and then you will be fine. Things will be more settled. Or you will find another girlfriend eventually, which will create a new set of mechanical processes, things to do, a new order together with that new girlfriend. So understand it. This understanding will help you understand that this nothing devastating really has happened, and it shouldn't add or trigger the old one, because now you're clear. They're not connected. They're just similar feelings affecting you emotionally, similar, and why. Now that you know that, you can relax a little bit more about it. I hope that helps, Nicola. Excalibur says, Mehran, as we both know, you feel a very strong connection to Hawaii. Why did you settle in Canada if your soul wants to be in Hawaii? Well, because Canada is a different country. Hawaii is the United States. When I immigrated, I came to Canada. I chose Canada for a place of living. Not every part of the United States is like Hawaii. Hawaii is a different culture, different surrounding, different geographical point in time, different energy there. It's just, it's totally separate for itself in energy, in people, in culture, in way things are, while it has lots of wonderful things that many other parts of the United States have, but it has its own unique elegance and unique flow of energy. And so this is my home, and that's where I like to be. So if it was a country on its own, that would be a different place, different thing. But it's not. PC Risfan says, hi Mehran. Says, my name is Amy and I'm from San Francisco, 30-year-old. I recently broke up with my boyfriend because I realized he had the negative traits of my father. I still love him though. Do you think we could have worked it out? Well, it's a very big question, Amy, because I really don't know his credentials. I don't know his manners. I don't know his philosophy. I don't know what the root of his behavior is. I don't, just because his behavior is similar to your father, but you had a different relationship with your father. It was a father-daughter relationship. And that again entails different psychology for your father and how he would be seeing it. Maybe he was trying to protect you. Maybe he was being dominant. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he was just not a good person. I apologize. I don't mean to disrespect your father, but I just don't know enough. I'm just trying to deliver something. Maybe he had some negative traits that you're alluding to, whatever it was. I don't know what those negative traits are, so I could use it in this situation to know that this guy is having those same traits. So it's a little bit closed info here that I think I would need a little bit of clarity. And the fact that I don't know about the character of your boyfriend and his education, background, or ability to bring balance to a relationship, or how he resolves differences, conflicts, and divisions, then I can't say if he was able to work it out with you. And I don't know enough about you either, Amy, to say what kind of character you have and if your character and his character. What I can tell you is that if you guys didn't bond on consciousness level, then obviously conflicts and divisions, which are normal in every relationship due to the fact that consciousnesses are different, would have become even more noticeable here because of the differences, not just in the consciousness being different naturally between two people, but also because you have severe differences in your approach to life or in your values, and these are things that I don't know. So I can't really say you could have worked it out or not, Amy. I hope you appreciate that. But again, if things are not easy to discuss here, guys, go on my site, mind@6truth.com, and click on Talk to Me for consultation, and make a Skype appointment, and we'll discuss it further one-on-one on Skype. And Teresa says, hello, everyone, with a big heart, and hello to you as well, dear. Amy says his negative traits were basically not knowing how to communicate when getting mad. He would just clam up. My parents fought a lot when I was a kid. I was afraid that he and I would end up the same. So he wouldn't be violent, or he wasn't into drugs or alcohol or misuse of, or raising his hands on you and all that. It was a matter of that when you were in argument, he would just be quiet, give you silent treatment, and just not be able to communicate. Of course, there's lots to consider there. I don't know him. I haven't talked to him, so I'm just spitballing here. Perhaps his ego is so big that he doesn't dare to stand up in front of his ego and try to solve things, thinks that if he does, it's a betrayal to his ego. Or perhaps he was fearful of losing the relationship, therefore he decided not to talk at all. These are some of the things that I can say, but I really don't know, because most probably from the distance, not knowing enough, from what you told me here, I think he was being subordinate to his ego and couldn't dissolve anything, couldn't resolve or dissolve anything in his mind. His ego had become more important, so important that he couldn't even begin to resolve things because it would not be acceptable to him regardless of what, because his ego had taken over. And the thought that he is his ego, in other words, he is following his ego rather than the ego being his subordinates and following him, to know the master is him, his center, and the ego is supposed to be one of the fragments, like the desire, like the fear. But instead, they were actually running him. In this case, the ego was running him. But again, I'm not sure. I don't want to sound like, I know what I'm talking about in this case, because I don't know enough information. But from what I heard from you, that's an assumption, and not necessarily on point. Because again, it's not clear for me at all who he is and everything else. Sean says, my name is Sean. I'm 20. Me and my girlfriend broke up, and I can't get over her. Why not? Why can't you get over her? Is it her that he can't get over, or is it the pleasure of being with her that he can't think being denied? Because who is she? You're 20-year-old. You hardly know yourself, Sean, let alone knowing her. So what you know about her is the fact that she's a female and you're a heterosexual male. You're programmed to pursue a female, to love a female, to want a female, and therefore you think she's a female, therefore she's got everything you want. But that's really lust, isn't it? You don't know her, because once you really know her is meaning to know her fears, her desire, her ego, her thoughts, her consciousness, and find things in common on consciousness level or not. And then you will see, oh, maybe I just don't even want her because she's so different with me in her consciousness. But none of that comes to the picture with you, because all at that age, all you see is the fact that she meets the criteria of being a female that you want to be around. And you want to turn her in your goddess, because we human beings have been conditioned to think that we must worship something. If we worship something, then we have loyalty towards something. And that loyalty frees us, free. It makes us free to be irresponsible, to be not need anything, to not observe any rules, to not be fearful of anything, because we've already given ourselves, our life, through loyalty to something else. A deity, a woman, something that gives us a certain kind of a freedom. Because if we don't let go this love that we have for ourselves and want to secure ourselves and be careful about ourselves, if we want to focus on that, we can't get anything done. Everything is kind of limited. But once we find our life is not as worthy as somebody else's life, or a deity's belief would be more important than our life, then we kind of feel a certain freedom. So that loyalty is part of something that we all seek. That is how we started thousands of years ago, believing in gods and finding it very important to believe in gods, which people would go in their own place and make it out of clay, and then they would worship it because they wanted to give their fears and have somebody else be responsible for their fears and shortcomings and things that they may not get in life, and therefore just worship that one thing, expecting that one thing to take care of all their fears and what they may be needing. And that was their way of escaping from the responsibility of worrying and being fearful about things, just putting all their faith and belief in something. Now, we do the same thing with women. And that mostly is stemming from the fact that it's the source of pleasure, intimacy. And that's the highest level of pleasure, which when you have that, you feel there's nothing else in this world you need, because at that moment you hardly remember yourself at the moment of intimacy, let alone to have any need for anything else. So the woman becomes very important because it can help you to arrive that level of highest level of intimacy. Therefore you make her to be your God, and therefore you think she's perfect and there's nothing else that you could expect from her, and she is definitely qualified. Then when you miss her, you think, oh, I've missed the God. I've missed something that was giving me solution to all my problems, because when I was with her, because of the pleasure I would receive from her, I would not feel and think that I need anything else. And that's what you're thinking that you're missing, not the girl, because you hardly knew the girl. So was it really her that you're missing? Or what you could be, the state that you would become to be at when you were with her? And that has nothing to do with love or getting to know her or knowing her. It has a lot to do with you wanting to be free and not fearful of anything, and feel that you've gotten everything that you're missing at this age in life through pleasure. And pleasure was coming from her. That makes her very important. Lo and behold, there's so many other wonderful women out there, and you have no business missing any girlfriend at this age, because you're going to have another one and another one and another one until you're 28, 29, 30 years old. Then you kind of know about yourself enough. You've accomplished, you finished university or whatever it is that you plan on doing. And then you begin to know what kind of woman you would hope to get to know and what you expect from them. And you wouldn't be stopping at just expecting them to look good. You would want a lot more, to bond on consciousness level. That's when you actually would have a chance to find the right woman for yourself, to start thinking you would miss her if you break up with her. But even at that age, if you still don't know her on a consciousness level, then again, if you break up, it's not because she was really all that good, because you guys didn't have enough things in common to keep the relationship together. All right, this can go on for God knows how long, so let me go move on to the next question. Sean. And Sean says, I stupidly want to keep fighting, but she already gave up. She already planned a trip to LA to go clubbing, and I can't help but be jealous and hurt. No, don't be jealous. That's what I just told you. At that age, she hardly knows herself, let alone knowing what she wants. She wants to go clubbing. That's the age she is, and that's the age you are. So just enjoy that, and don't think that she was anything that you're going to have your life dependent on it, or your future or anything. Just enjoy it. Everything, any relationship has a duration, and that was its duration. And duration is over. Move on, learn from it. And the good news is there's so many wonderful, beautiful, amazing women, girls that are out there that still you haven't met, and you will meet them. So go on, enjoy. And he says, I'm a guy from Oregon. Yes, Oregon. Yeah, I went to school in Lake Oswego in Portland. Lewis and Clark. Beautiful school. Nicola says, just to give you a feedback, that emotion of loss was almost identical. Too strong feeling. But as you said, it is about order. After a few months, it is a much better. The order is here. Yes. I need to say good night. It's 2:30 a.m. Have a nice evening. You're welcome, and glad that you could enjoy it here. And we look forward to see you again. And have a nice evening too, Nicola. And Amy says, Mehran, thank you so much for your comment. I really appreciate it. And all your videos, they have been helping me so much. Thank you. My pleasure, Amy. Just guys, don't forget to click on like before you depart, and also remember to share the videos that you like on your social media. We need to have exposure. We don't. We are still found randomly on YouTube, and somehow I need your help to put us on the map. However you can manage it, Instagram posts, or sharing the videos, or if you've got connection with some media, university media, or regular commercial media, to do an interview or check our site and see what we're all about. Maybe they'll put us on the map, make a little report on us, and that would be helpful. Anyhow, and you're quite welcome, Amy, and look forward to see you again. And says male 28, Vancouver. Oh my goodness, Vancouver. Enjoying the cool weather. Oh yes, we are. I'm right by the window, and the cool air is really you know, good addition. Says I'm practically recovered, but this is my first time moving forward alone. Is it normal to think about my ex from time to time? I'm enjoying feeling free. Of course it is normal. It would be abnormal if you don't. You know, you're a heterosexual male and you had a girlfriend. Is that the case? Let's see. Practically first moving forward, it's normal to think about my ex. Yeah. Well, however, whatever your relationship is, it's not clear here, but obviously it is, you know, you're a human being with emotions, and then you will naturally think about your ex, so that's, of course, it's normal. Enjoy your freedom and don't hurry for the next relationship. It'll come whether you want it or not. And let's see. And by the way, if you guys haven't subscribed, please click on subscription button right there. It takes a moment. And if you haven't liked the videos, please do like the live talk. And of course, look forward to invite you to check the channel and see what other videos we have in here. We have over 1,300 videos, and pretty much anything you think after your breakup, we have a video on it. Just write how you feel on the search engine of the channel, and there are bound to be some videos on that topic. And of course, live talks are here on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, and uploads are every day, so should be a good channel to hang around with. So do subscribe if you haven't. And of course, you know that you can go on my site, mind@6truth.com, click on Talk to Me for consultation, and make a private appointment on Skype, and we will be able to explore what's concerning you on Skype one-on-one. And Excalibur says, this is the first time I have to go before the stream ends. Well, you know the drill, Mehran. Thank you so much for helping us with our young adult bullshit. No, that's quite legitimate. It's not bullshit. Some things are, but hey, that's why you're here, to be able to move out of that bullshit, if you call it. And wish you a wonderful day. I the same. Wish you the same. Wish you a wonderful evening, because it must be nighttime in Spain. And Teresa says, I think that there is a stigma around admitting that a breakup has devastated you, and that's why people coming here for help don't share your videos on their personal. Yeah, it's true, Teresa. It's absolutely true, and that's a curse I'm carrying with me by by the videos. I don't know. Well, you know, maybe I should change the topic to just stick with what the actual roots of my channel is, which you will find it in the playlist called The Psyche, which is where we talk, and it's the main purpose of my having this channel, to introduce you guys to yourselves, to your center, to your consciousness, which is talks about consciousness, how consciousness is born, how it's come to be, what is thinking, what is thoughts, what is the relation between thoughts and consciousness, what about fear, how is it born, what is fear, and what about pleasure, what is desire, how is desire born, what are the steps to it, and ego, what is ego, and the role of all these fragments of our center, our being, our persona, in how we feel, act, and react in our daily lives and negotiate our journey through life. So if I just do that, I don't know if people would have enough interest. But I use the forum, the venue of breakups, in order to introduce yourselves to yourselves, people to you, through the common experiences that you each have, which involves knowing about yourself, your consciousness, fear, desire, ego, pleasure, thoughts, thinking, and all that. So it's kind of a trick I'm using to introduce the actual subject, which is knowing about humanity, ourselves, the energy of the universe, ourselves, how we are put together, and how we function, and how we tick. So, having said that, let's see. Ayushman says, hello, sir. Ayushman says, how are you? Well, look, guys, thank you very much, Ayushman. I'm glad that you also could make it to the end. Now I'm going to upload it and everybody can enjoy it. Looks like we hit all the questions here. And at this time, it's time for me to say goodbye. I love you all. Thank you very much for giving me time and share this time with me. And I hope to talk to you soon. Perhaps not Friday, because this is my replacement for Friday. I have some appointments on Friday. But again, hope to see you on Saturday and Sunday. I don't know if I will have one tomorrow or not, but perhaps I'll try. In the meantime, be good to yourself, to the others, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.